In the bustling city of Mystica, where skyscrapers touched the clouds and the rivers sparkled with light, lived a young man named Max. Max was an average guy with big dreams but very little luck. His days were usually spent working in a small antique shop owned by a grumpy old man, Mr. Fickleton. While Mr. Fickleton's shop was filled with strange, forgotten objects, it didn't get many visitors. Most people thought it was just a dusty place full of junk, but Max loved it. He felt like every item had a story to tell. One evening, just before closing, an elderly woman hobbled into the shop with a mysterious-looking oil lamp in her hands. She handed it to Max with a wink and said, "This lamp. It's more special than it looks. Take good care of it, my boy." With that, she left, vanishing into the crowded street as if she had never been there. Max looked at the lamp. It was rusty, covered in cobwebs, and honestly, not much to look at. Still, he decided to take it home and give it a little polish. Chapter 2. The Wish. When Max got home, he set the lamp on his table and began to wipe it clean. Suddenly, with a bright flash of light and a gust of wind that nearly knocked him off his feet, the room filled with a soft, shimmering glow. He stared wide-eyed as a figure started to form in front of him. Who are you?" Max stammered, unable to believe his eyes. The woman smiled, her cheeks turning a little pink. "I'm Genie, the genie of the lamp, and you've just set me free." She raised her hand, and with a playful twirl, little sparks of light danced around her fingers. "I am here to grant you 3 wishes, master." Chapter 3. First Wish. An unexpected twist. 3 wishes, Max thought out loud, his mind racing with possibilities. Fame, fortune, a life of luxury. But then he remembered Genie, the beautiful Genie standing right in front of him. He blurted out his first wish without much thought. I wish for you to feel what it's like to live like a regular person for a day. Just to experience life like I do." Genie's eyes widened, and her cheeks turned a bright shade of pink. She looked away, almost bashfully, and mumbled, That's a unique wish, master." "Wow," she said softly, looking at her hands and then around the room. "This is different. I feel well." Human. She looked at Max, her cheeks still red. "Thank you, I guess," Max chuckled. "Looks like you're officially my roommate for the day, Genie." Chapter 4. A Day of Adventures. Max and Genie spent the entire day together. First, he took her to his favorite coffee shop, where she was delighted by her first cup of hot chocolate. Every little thing seemed like an adventure to Genie. She marveled at the simple things Max usually took for granted: the taste of food, the feel of the wind on her face, even the hustle and bustle of the busy streets. Max found himself fascinated by her childlike wonder, and soon he was laughing more than he ever had in years. But as the sun began to set, Genie's smile faded a little. She knew this taste of human life wouldn't last, and a part of her felt sad about going back to being a genie. "Max," she said quietly, "thank you for this wish. It was more than I ever expected." Max smiled, though a small part of him was sad too. "Thank you for letting me share it with you, Genie." Chapter 5. The Second Wish. As they returned to his apartment, Genie sighed, knowing her time as a normal person was almost over. She turned to Max with a gentle smile. "All right, Max, it's time for your second wish. What will it be?" Max thought long and hard. He didn't want to waste this second wish on just anything. Genie watched him closely, her eyes full of curiosity. She seemed to be hoping for something, though Max couldn't quite tell what. Finally, he said, "I wish for you to have the freedom to live outside the lamp, so you don't have to be trapped unless you want to." Genie's eyes widened and tears sparkled at the corners. You'd do that for me? Even though you only have one wish left?" Max nodded. "You deserve to be free, Genie. Besides, I don't need to keep you locked up. I'd rather have you as a friend, not just a magical servant." Genie's cheeks turned pink again, and for a moment she looked down, flustered. Then, with a radiant smile, she raised her hands and chanted a soft spell. The lamp on the table glowed one last time, then faded into a wisp of smoke, disappearing for good. "Thank you," Max. Genie said, her voice full of emotion. "You have no idea how much this means to me." They stood in silence for a moment, each feeling a strange warmth in their hearts. Neither of them realized just how much their lives had changed in such a short time. Chapter 6, The Final Wish. The next morning, Max woke up to the smell of pancakes. He walked into the kitchen to find Genie wearing one of his oversized t-shirts and flipping pancakes on the stove, looking as happy as ever. Good morning. She greeted him with a bright smile. Good morning to you, too, Max replied, a bit amused. I didn't know genies could cook. Genie laughed, her eyes twinkling. Suit yourself, master. Chapter 7, An unexpected visitor. Just as they were finishing breakfast, there was a loud knock at the door. Max opened it to find a tall, muscular man in a sparkling blue suit, holding a scroll and looking rather annoyed. Is there a Miss Genie here? He asked gruffly. Genie froze. Oh, who's this? Max asked, glancing at Genie. The man sighed, rolling his eyes. I'm Xander, the Genie enforcer. Miss Genie, you're behind on your Genie duties. You're supposed to grant wishes, not have breakfast with humans. Genie's face fell. She didn't want to go back to the Genie world, but she also didn't want to cause trouble. Max took a deep breath. He knew what he had to do. All right, then, he said firmly, I'll use my third wish. Genie and Xander both looked at him in surprise.